We kick off this evening with a look at the cinema.
I'm not a complicated man. I like cinema.
It's beautiful, beautiful cinema.
Cinema history come to life.
I found my solace in the small cinema I went to every Thursday night.
I'm a professor of cinema.
I go to the cinema for the stories.
There was no competition between the cinema and seminar.
I mean, it's not within the realm of conventional cinema.
And now,
here's Pace and Johnson
with a cinema review.
It is Monday, May 6th, 2024, 8 EST, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Cnemaster's Reviews. We are officially in the summer movie season. Unfortunately, I only had time to get out to go see one movie this week, but it was a pretty big movie and a really fun movie at that. That is The Fall Guy, directed by David Leitch, starring Ryan Gosling. I say we jump right in. Yeah, like I said, directed by David Leitch. It is based off the hit TV show from, I believe, the 80s about a stuntman in Hollywood. Ryan Gosling plays Colt Seavers, a stuntman for one of the more popular movie stars, played by Aaron Taylor Johnson. And about 18 months before the start of this movie, Colt Seavers is involved in a stunt that unfortunately puts him in a really bad accident where he can't really, where he's put out of work for quite a while. Right before he got injured, he was kind of starting to get feelings for a woman by the name of Jody, played by Emily Blunt. She's one of the camera operators. And 18 months later, Colt is now a valet driver. He is called by the producer of a new sci-fi film called Metal Storm, played by Hannah Waddingham from Ted Lasso, and she asks him if he can come and be the new stunt guy for the film down in Australia. Jody is now directing the movie, and Colt decides to take it in some sort of way to get his career back on track, and in order to apologize to Jody for essentially ghosting her and leaving her in the dust. But wouldn't you know, the producer actually wanted to hire Colt in order to track down the main movie star, played by Aaron Taylor Johnson, who's been missing for weeks and no one on set really knows where he is. So we have Colt tracking through all of Australia in order to find him. This is not an original blockbuster. This is obviously based on some form of IP, but it's an IP from many, many years ago. I think many people don't really. I think many people wouldn't even know this isn't based off anything. So I was So I was kind of excited for this movie because it looked like a semi-original movie with and I like the stars. I really love Ryan Gosling. I love Emily Blunt, and for the most part, even though this movie does have quite a bit of issues, I ended up really enjoying it because I think the main parts of the movie really, really work. Just to start off with the things I like, for a movie that does have a stuntman as its main character that is focused on the movie industry, specifically the behind-the-scenes stuff, the stunts and the action are really, really well done here. David Leitch is someone, he essentially kind of like ghost-directed the first John Wick movie with Chad Stahelski, but he also directed Atomic Blonde, he directed Deadpool 2, he directed Hobbs and Shaw, and his most recent movie, Bullet Train. Regardless of what you think about those movies, all those movies have really, really great action, and I think this one serves its purpose there as well. I think the action of this movie is really, really well done, and yeah, for a movie that is focused so much on stunts and so much on practical effects, I think it helps the fact that the action looks real. Like, you really feel like you are there in the movie with these characters, and nothing really looks like fake and artificial. Like, there's this one scene towards the middle of the film where Colt is trying to catch up with a truck that is holding someone, and he's being dragged by like this and he's like being dragged by the motorcycle he was riding, but he's like standing on it, and that's really like the stunt doubles doing that. And I think and the fact this movie has such a appreciation for the stunt work and for that behind the scenes stuff, I think it also helps that the actual stunt and the choreography is really, really well done. So I want to applaud David Leitch there, because while this movie isn't like and I'll get into this. The script is not like the strongest. I think the action and the stunts are really, really well done. For this movie being an action comedy, I don't think it's quite as funny as you would expect. It definitely has its moments. I think it's helped by the fact that the cast is so strong, so it's able to carry some of these jokes a little bit farther. But there are some scenes where I'm like, I think that's kind of stupid, or I just don't think that was really that well thought out, that I think is made watchable because the actors are so likable. Like there's this one scene towards the beginning of the movie. It's when Colt and Jodie first reunite, and Colt is filming a scene, and Jodie is directing them, and they're sort of having like this back and forth stuff through the megaphone. Jodie's saying like, "Oh, this is what the character is going through," but really it's just her whole like mindset. That is a scene that, if you look at it on paper, it seems like it would like go on forever, and it seems like it would get boring. But I think because Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt are so likable and they have so much chemistry, they're kind of able to carry this. I don't want to say half-baked script, but maybe a script that could have used a little bit more polish, and it makes it seem more watchable and more fun. Yeah, I've said his name quite a bit, but I do just want to highlight Ryan Gosling is phenomenal in this role. He's an actor I've always liked since I first saw. I have to think about the first time I saw Ryan Gosling, but he's one of the more likable actors for me. And I think something I love about him recently is it seems like since The Nice Guys, he's really honed and focused what makes him such a good actor, and that is he's obviously like, and I don't think this is controversial, like very, very attractive man, like very good looking guy. But I think while he can definitely play like the suave movie star type very well, I think the thing that he really excels at is playing this doofy and like out of his element character. I think that's what really makes this character so likable. Is this is a guy that like 18 months ago suffered this horrible injury, so he's very much like out of his element. Like, can I really do these stunts? He's always trying to impress this woman, like played by Emily Blunt. And it's the only reason he's doing this huge mystery that throughout the whole movie, he's like, why don't we just go to the police? Why don't we just get them involved? Why don't we have them track down Aaron Taylor Johnson to finally bring him to the law? But like him, like in this element, like there's this one great scene where he goes to this nightclub and he accidentally ingests drugs. So like throughout like the next 20 minutes, he's constantly seeing like hallucinations. And while they never like bring attention to it, there's this really funny bit where like there's just this one like fantasy creature that's just in the background of all these shots, and I don't want to say it, but like we know that he's seeing it because he's still tripping, and that's a really, really funny scene. But yeah, Ryan Gosling is just so charismatic and has so much energy that he's able to carry this movie throughout a lot of the scenes that might drag if a lesser actor was there. I think the whole cast is pretty dang good. I think everyone has their chance to shine. I think the second best part of this movie is Winston Duke, who plays Ryan Gosling, who plays Colt's best friend and the stunt coordinator for the film. Their little like friendship and bromance is so much fun because like Winston Duke is like he's kind of he starts out as the movie as like Colt's wingman, as like the guy who's like, come on, man, I believe in you. Jodie totally is in love with you. She's still super into you, and he's just trying to give Colt this confidence because he has just completely lost his smile. And as the movie progresses, like he weirdly becomes like his second buddy in like this buddy cop action movie. Like there's this great action sequence in a mansion where they're like trying to fight these hitmen. And that was probably my favorite scene of the movie because you get the friendship of these two characters. You get how their dynamic works. And I think that was really, really fun. I don't want to spoil too much about Aaron Taylor Johnson's character, but he is an actor that I think has been really like, I really liked him in David Leitch's last movie, Bullet Train. And I think David Leitch just knows this guy's really good at playing like these like scummy characters. Like when we first are introduced to the concept of this guy, we know he's like this big time partier. He's not the smartest guy in the world. And I think Aaron Taylor Johnson is really, really great at playing that off and pulling that type of character off really, really well. All the other actors, like they might not be used a ton, but it does seem like they were all given their role in this movie. Like I said, Hanny Waddingham is really, really fun as this producer. Stephanie Shu from Everything Everywhere All at Once shows up. You have Teresa Palmer in this for like a few parts. I think she really gets to shine in the few scenes she has. Yeah, the whole cast is used to a pretty effective way. I will say, when it comes to the mystery element of this movie, because obviously Colt is in Australia because he's trying to solve this mystery. He's trying to find this missing person and where they went. It is a little predictable. I think if I were to compare this movie to another movie I admittedly think is a lot better, I would compare it to Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I think Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is a movie with Robert Downey Jr., Val Kilmer. I think it is a like Hollywood focused mystery that I think is just done a little bit better because I think the mystery is just more fun. I think the issue with here is I think most audience members will be able to guess what is really going on pretty early on in the movie. And it's not really a twist when you learn what actually happens. But I don't think this movie is trying to be like the most suspenseful film in the world, so I will give it credit. I think what people are there for is for the action and the comedy, and it really, really delivers in the action. Maybe leaves a little bit to be desired with the comedy, but there are still quite a few laughs in here. Once again, I think Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt, I think they're just two of the most likable actors working today, and I think they do a really great job at selling this romance that I think maybe the movie spends a bit too much time on. Like, I don't view this as a spoiler. Like, the two characters end up getting together at the end. Like, they do realize they do still like each other, and they do have feelings for each other. And I think throughout the whole movie, we're like, okay, these like will they, won't they scenes. Like, I guess they're cute, but like we all know what's gonna happen. I think the movie spends a little bit too much time on this romance, where I think I wish it would have spent a little bit more time ironing out the mystery, making you care about what's really going on. But most of my issues, like, even though I do have a lot of issues with this movie, I think one of the major reasons why I walked out really positive and really high on this movie was because I think the last like 20 minutes of this film are so action-packed and so much fun. I think it chooses a great final location for its final set piece. I think how all the characters resolve this mystery is really, really great. And I think David Leitch knows how to end his movie off on a really great climax. And I think he does that once again here. Yeah, I think that just about brings me to the end of this review. If I were to rate this movie on a scale of 0 to 10, which is how we review movies here at Cnemaster's Reviews, 0 being absolutely awful, 10 being absolutely incredible. Yeah, I know this seems high, but I think I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. 8 videotapes out of 10. I think this was just a really solid action movie. I think it's what we want out of summer movies, where you get a lot of like big set piece action. You get a lot of fun with the with the characters interacting. Have a great lead at its centerpiece. Again, it does have some things that I wish maybe could have had a little bit more effort put in. Maybe not quite as funny as it could have been. He spends a bit too much on the romance, but I think the best parts of this movie are really, really well done. So yeah, The Fall Guy definitely gets a recommendation from me. Andrew Barr says, woo, Cinemaster's Review. Hey, Barr, how you doing? Always great to see you. But yeah, if you have the time, please go see this in theaters, because I think these are the types of movies during the summer movie season that we want to see more of. Just really fun blockbusters like this. And yeah, I would definitely highly recommend you check this out. But yeah, short episode this week, but thank you all for watching. Remember to like this video and subscribe to the video store. It helps grow our content a lot. Next week, we are going to be reviewing Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, the new Planet of the Apes movie. I think it looks really, really great, as well as Chris Pine's directorial debut, Pool Man, I believe, is getting a limited release, so I'm going to try to go check that out. I promise I'm going to go see 2 movies this week, and I'm sorry. I've been slacking a little, just kind of been busy with life stuff. But I do want to get back into it, and I do love talking movies with you guys, so thank you so much for watching. Remember to like this video, subscribe to the video store, and as always, watch more movies.
And the award for most vapid film review of the century goes to...
Yeah, movie review. Okay, I thought it was beauty.
And he's now in cinema hell, where one day we'll all be reunited.
This is me at the Regal Cinema crying as I did through much of the film.